Flying your drone near a bushfire. Man, it's a topic that's just wrapped in rumors, endless forum debates, and a whole lot of bad information. So today, we're going to cut straight through all that noise and give you the real CASA rules so you can fly not just legally, but most importantly, safely. Let's get right into it. This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? You see that big plume of smoke on the horizon, and every instinct, every piece of advice you've ever heard online is probably screaming at you to stay on the ground. But is it really that simple? Exactly. This piece of common wisdom, if there's smoke, don't fly, is what we're here to unpack today. Because the real answer, as you might guess, has a lot more nuance to it. And understanding that nuance is what separates a truly responsible pilot from one who's just, well, following a myth. All right, so to really get that nuance, we have to start by debunking the biggest myth of them all. This idea that a fire on the ground automatically creates some kind of magical no-fly zone in the air. This right here, this is the core of the whole thing. CASA, that's the Civil Aviation Safety Authority. Their job is to manage what happens up in the sky. The fire perimeter on a map, whether a fire is contained or not, that's not their world. A fire by itself does not legally restrict airspace. So, okay, if the fire itself doesn't create a no-fly zone, then what does? Let's take a look at the actual CASA regulations that you, as the pilot, really need to have burned into your brain. Now, these should all look pretty familiar. These are the standard drone rules we all follow. Stay below 120 meters, keep it in your visual line of sight, don't create a hazard. But the big one, the one that is absolutely crucial for this whole discussion, is right there. Do not operate near emergency response aircraft. That's the rule that grounds us, not the smoke. And this just hammers the point home. Whether a fire is officially called active, contained, or controlled is, from an aviation law perspective, totally irrelevant. Those are terms for the ground crews. The only thing that legally restricts you from flying are things related to aviation. And let's be blunt, a drone getting in the way of a water-bombing helicopter could be catastrophic. It could ground life-saving operations. This brings us to probably the single most important and most misunderstood word in the entire regulation when it comes to fires. What on earth does CASA actually mean by the word near? Okay, so here's the kicker. Near is not a number. It's not some 5-kilometer bubble. It is a judgment call that you, the remote pilot in command, have to make. It means, is there a realistic risk of a collision or of you interfering with their operations? Your assessment has to factor in everything: visibility, the terrain, and how fast you could get your drone on the ground if an aircraft suddenly appeared. And this comparison just makes it crystal clear. For planes and helicopters, CASA sets hard, fixed, non-negotiable separation distances. But for drones, they just use that word near and put all the responsibility, all the judgment, squarely on your shoulders as the pilot. It's about your brain, not a measuring tape. So we've established it's all about your judgment call. But how do you actually apply that judgment in a real-world situation? Especially in that kind of gray area, after the main aerial firefighting seems to have wrapped up for the day. Before you even think about putting a battery in, you've got to run through this mental checklist. First, are firefighting aircraft actively operating right now? No? Okay. Next, are there any on local standby just waiting for a call? Next, is there any reasonable expectation they might be called back? And have you checked for any NOTAMs? That's the official bulletin for temporary flight restrictions. And then, of course, the basics. Can you actually see your drone, and can you land it immediately if you have to? If the answer to any of those first 3 questions is yes, or if there's a NOTAM in place, you stay on the ground. Period. Decisions made for you. That checklist is an amazing tool, but let's be real. In the heat of the moment, you need something even simpler. So let's boil all of this down into a practical rule of thumb that you can easily remember when you're out in the field. Okay, let's just walk through this. Active aerial firefighting going on. Simple. Do not fly. What if they've literally just packed up and finished for the day? Nope. Still do not fly. Why? Because they could get recalled at a moment's notice. Okay, what if they've been formally stood down for the night? Now we're talking. You can reassess the situation the next day. And finally, if there are no aircraft, no NOTAMs, and zero reasonable expectation of them being tasked, then and only them is flight permitted under CASA rule. And this, right here, is the ultimate takeaway. The whole system isn't built on the waiting a specific number of hours or for the last wisp of smoke to clear. It's built on your ability, as a pilot, to make a safe, informed judgment call. The real safety control isn't a line in a rulebook, it's you. So the final question you should always ask yourself isn't just, can I legally fly? It's, have I done absolutely everything possible to ensure I can fly safely?